All right, guys. First off, sorry about the life totals. I'm sure that they'll notice and change that shortly. Jimmy on the left here is on Blue Red Delver. He's been playing this for a little while, and Thunder is on a version of UG Post. It's full of all of the normal posty hits, except that this version gets to play Brainstorms and Show and Tells. This is a Primeval Titan deck that just has the eventuality of yeah, not seven. Uh, Thunder will yeah he'll start the game off by going to 21 and casting an expedition map. Um, I'm pretty sure that he is not running Force of Will, but the blue is in there for things like Brainstorm, Show and Tell, Repeal, and maybe some really nice blue sideboard options. I can't be entirely sure. Jimmy has a start with a turn one Delver here, and this matchup is a complete race where he is attempting to kill the post player before he gets too many utility lands that completely shut him down, like multiple mazes and gaining a lot of life from Glimmer Posts. And he's just going to try to use his mana as efficiently as possible. He unfortunately missed his Delver flip on turn two. And it appears he does not have a Brainstorm. He's going to keep Gitaxian Probe in hand just to keep a Force of Will up. But I feel like I would have probably probed this turn just to try to hit like Ponder or something. Now he has the option, though, of forcing this to protect his Delver. So he's down to very few cards in hand. I'm sorry, why is Thunder losing so much life? What is happening here? Cloud Post comes into play. Why is Thunder down to 16? Jimmy Tech checks the top of his deck, and it is not an instant. So my line of using Probe to try to dig a little bit didn't help. Also, it means that his Delver would have been dead, which makes his hand even worse than it is now. Now he has the option of possibly drawing something good this turn. I feel like he probably has 2 Price of Progress in his main deck, so those are really good ways that he could just take Thunder completely by surprise this game, because a pop could probably hit for 10 or 12 easily in this matchup. Thunder is going to crack his map. He appears to already have Glacial Chasm in hand. Not cracking the map. He has a Chasm in hand and another... I think that's a Glimmer Post. Maybe he'll Brainstorm some lands back into his deck and possibly crack the map to go get it back. It's a valid line of play. Yeah, so at least Glacial Chasm and one other land, unsure what it is, will be going back on top here. And he chooses to draw. Having so many Glimmer Posts in main deck allows him to just gain a lot of life over the course of every game, irrespective of matchup. Like, he always has this. I feel like that makes his burn matchup very good, so the UR Delver matchup is probably quite good as well. The ways he's going to lose is just by getting popped out of the game, possibly post-board Blood Mooned out of the game. He has a lot of good answers to things like... Wow, no Delver flips. But Jimmy's going to flood the board here. His clock is quite bad. I mean, he needed to flip this Delver yesterday. Because what's going to happen now is Thunder has been given enough space to keep his map up, and now when he cracks those, he'll just be going straight for Cloud Post, and then probably Eye of Ugin, and Jimmy cannot beat an Eye of Ugin under any circumstances. I guess the only way you could beat it is maybe popping somebody as they go to cast or search up Emrakul or something. So we've got a mirror here, and Jimmy gave that a quick read. The mirror is going to copy any creature or land or enchantment or artifact in play. Maybe not enchantment, sorry. Let me check that out. Mirage Mirror can become a creature, enchantment, or artifact or land. So for 2 mana, he can activate it and create a copy of almost anything that was in play. Basically, the only permanent that's left off of this card on purpose is Planeswalker here. So he's going to go and get an Eye of Ugin. He has access to 7 mana now, and if another map becomes a Cloud Post, then that just ramps up so high. It also doesn't matter because, I mean, with a candle out, he can make as much as he could need. He's still only getting 1 land drop per turn, though, so he's deciding on whether he wants Eye yet or if he wants to go and put a Cloud Post in now. Jimmy has gone this entire game without Ponders or Brainstorms. And he really needs to find Brainstorm now. So there's Eye of Ugin, and Thunder can even actually make the mirror into a Cloud Post if he wants, which will make both Cloud Posts make 4 mana each. The candle can untap, well, everything. I guess the only things that would be worth copying is the Cloud Posts. So this turn he can search up Emrakul, I think. And Jimmy has missed his Delver again. So I think that this is hopeless. I'm sorry. I think that this game is hopeless. He can't really interact with Emrakul getting searched up here. So takes another draw step. He's flooding out. He is chain lightninging him. Thunder will go to 12. There will be a prowess trigger, so then he'll take 4. I think 8 is going to be the lowest that Thunder gets to. He had tons of mana even last turn. Yeah, he's going to go for it here. I have to assume he's going to reveal an Emrakul, and then we'll go quickly to scoop phase. This matchup is just racing the post player until they have an unreasonable amount of mana. And he's got a better win condition than basically any other deck I can think of in the late game. Just recurring as many large Eldrazi as you want. So he searches up Glacial Chasm, and Jimmy will take a look. If he's got... I mean, he could pop him to death right now. He has a draw, I think.
On your upkeep,
Yeah, okay. So Jimmy will look at 3 cards. He has outs. He finds Bedlam Reveler, Woodland Foothills, Young Pyromancer, and we'll scoop him up. So that draw was just too slow from the Delver player. He's really going to look to be on the play, jam a turn 1 threat, whether it be Swift Spear or Delver. Oh, and try to get that Blood Moon on turn 3. This looks like a keep to me. He also has a Vapor Snag, which is fantastic if we're just dealing with like a single Primeval Titan and we need to live one more turn, etc., etc.
Okay, but my sideboard is like the reason I do good against
Well, Jimmy hasn't attacked yet, so I wouldn't be too hasty putting yourself at 19. He's gonna get in for 2 at least. The hand is Ugin, Flusterstorm, Brainstorm, Show and Tell.
But I have a Scavenging Ooze and 3 Death Ray Shards in the main. So
they make Chancellor.
Jimmy cracks in for 2, and that'll be the turn.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Well, but I hope they don't let if they don't if Chancellor gets exiled before they bring it in. That's kind of the thing.
I think he's just going to try to ramp himself. Yeah. He wants 3 mana on turn 2, so he will play Cloudpost first. And Jimmy will spend another 2 life to take a look. It was a Misty. And he's got full knowledge of the Show and Tell in hand, so he needs to either search frantically for a counter. Well, actually, the Show and Tell isn't that threatening if he knows the contents of the hand, and Show and Tell can't put anything in yet. However, if he puts it onto the stack, then we have to believe that he found something, some Eldrazi or a Titan. Oh, and Jimmy does not have a second land, so his hand is gas. I don't see a Force of Will, though. There's no Force of Will. Okay, yeah, no problem, guys. Monday Night Magic.
I'm tapping 4 mana, so they're like, oh, it's Jace. No, this is gonna be way worse for you than it is.
All right, Jimmy found the Wooded Foothills.
You're gonna have to like mute me in this video.
And he needs to improve his clock or just have nothing but permission in hand.
Is this game 2 or game 3?
He's holding Daze. Yeah. And we'll shuffle away the rest. And even though... Oh, that's unfortunate. It's a Wooded Foothills instead of a blue fetch. So he could not grab Island. Yeah, the reason I mentioned that is because he's got Blood Moon in hand. And if he planned on playing the Blood Moon at any point, he really wants basic Island left. Alright, so a Flusterstorm gets used to save 3 life on the Chain Lightning. Still gets hit by a Prowessed Swift Spear. Gains 2 back from a Glimmer Post. And he's going to throw out a Show and Tell. So if I'm in Jimmy's spot, we have to fight over this because the last card is definitely Primeval Titan. But I think he doesn't have any... Yeah, he doesn't have a Force.
Oh, no.
And Thunder played around Daze. So he will put in a Blood Moon, and then Thunder will be able to search up 2 lands. But he's already got basic Forest in hand, so... If this deck only plays Island Forest as far as basics, then I think he's probably just going to get... he has to get Island, and then maybe something that's good if he finds Krosan Grip to destroy the Blood Moon.
Oh, no basic forest?
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, you have one already.
So 1 basic Forest in hand. The Titan is going to do an amazing job of just blocking anything that he needs to. That's so hard for Jimmy to deal with here.
That was a pretty clutch.
And he had Vapor Snag in hand, but he doesn't have blue mana now. The Delver player has access to 0 blue mana. No, you cannot.
With blue
You do not have an island.
Oh shit, you're right. Double lightning bolt.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Does it?
I mean, do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Swifty will get in for 3. And the post player is almost locked down by a Blood Moon, but so many times I'm playing against this deck and I Blood Moon someone with like Cast Pile or something. I Blood Moon him, and then he just gets up to 7 mana and casts an Ugin and the game is over.
Yeah, it still works. I was really happy.
Thunder rips another copy of Show and Tell. And is that a... He has 2 Flusterstorms in deck right now. He's got a Fluster in
I think
hand.
they lost with it in their hands. I was like, oh.
Wowee. He's still at a reasonably good life total. Jimmy could pop him out of the game at any moment.
Bedlam Reveler.
The second that Jimmy goes to check his graveyard, Thunder makes a called shot and decides that it's definitely Bedlam Reveler. So this means that he has no islands in play, so the Daze is worthless, the Vapor Snag is bad, and he can't cast the Brainstorm, so he is going to discard 3 and draw 3.
So you just draw. Oh, you discard your hand. Yeah. Discard, draw 3.
He refills his hand. He gets 2 castable spells this time, and as soon as he finds a blue card, the Force is going to pair with it. Swift Spear gets in for an anemic 1 this turn. And the Show and Tell resolves. It's another Titan. So let's see. Jimmy has Chain Lightning. No, why don't you just grab Ivugan? Right? Yeah, there's Ivugan and maybe another post. I would be tempted to get a Maze probably also. He's likely got as much mana as he could need. So Jimmy again has to figure out how to get rid of the Primeval Titan, but his clock is lethal now. If he could get through on the ground. He needs to find a blue card for Ugin, otherwise he will just die.
Your deck is actually working. That upsets me greatly.
And he'll swing in with the 3/4, so the jig is up that the Titan is going to get Chain Lightninged if Thunder blocks, but I think he's obliged to block. I think he has to. And now that I think about it, I think that there's a Blood Moon in play, and Thunder has so much red mana. Can you target creature? Oh my god. Thunder could have copied Chain Lightning and killed Young Pyromancer. I think you should kill Young Pyromancer. I think he's never had a bunch of green mana or red mana, so he didn't think about it.
Well, we could say it, right?
Yeah, you can say it.
The players at the table are talking about it.
Oh, yeah. Right.
I was like, wait.
Oh my god, that's horrible.
He's going to go for Ugin this turn, and I think he has to. And this will win him the game if Jimmy doesn't have the Force. But he found Delver off the top, so he forces Ugin, and that'll be game.
Yeah, you needed to kill that, you needed to kill that something.
Brainstorm?
Thunder brainstorms and finds... I think he's got 2 copies of Crop Rotation in hand now. This game would look very different if he had found Crossing Grip, right? So different.
Two back on top. Pass turn.
When he passes the turn, then the price of progress off the top. Hold on, let me see. How much would that be?
Well, wouldn't it matter?
I think that is 6 non-basics. I think he popped him for 12.
Price of progress top down.
But he didn't need that price. I think I actually would have held it. I don't know. It seems unlikely to matter.
Yeah, this
So they're going to shuffle up here with Thunder on the play for game 3. I have to tell you guys, I cut through a lot of shuffling here, and I think Thunder is very sadly mulling to is he mulling to 5 or 4?
Because I figured if I was playing Magic like
Is he scrying or?
basically a mold game.
So he has to keep that because he's got a land, and he scries Ugin to the bottom. So Thunder has mulled to 4 and plays a land.
yeah, I wouldn't rebuy. I would just like borrow people's decks every now and again.
I'm sorry. I don't think that this has a high likelihood of being a very interesting game. But because I liked games 1 and 2 so much, I wanted to cover this one. It's rough because I think that he often runs into rough patches where he doesn't get very playable hands. I would have dazed that.
Man, I just heard stories of like people losing their collection, and it's just like people say like, hey, like I left my backpack in my car, it's been broken and stolen. Like I had 2 legacy decks in there. If anybody sees them, it's like, yeah, they're gone. But you know the thing that sucks is like when somebody steals.
I don't see any way to get out of this.
I have no idea.
That's 4. That's many. All right. Sorry, Thunder. Good game, Jimmy. Well done. That is a hard matchup for both players, I think, in a lot of ways.
I've gone through like hand after hand after